Hey. So, I'm working on how to present some ideas of mine. I've been talking about them. This idea of kind of getting reacquainted with our biologically normal way of dealing with. I kind of want to say trauma, but it's a loaded word, and they're just dealing with life. And to my parent brain, that biologically normal way is to express what you're feeling. That's the tool set that we were given to be able to deal with things. And yeah, you can, do stuff. If you've got a problem that has a tangible solution there, yeah, you could do something. That's great. Love it. But there's also a lot of things that you can't really do anything about. And you're probably going to have feelings about that. and I went through this experience of actually breaking through just the ice that had formed around my own emotions, and getting to experience what it was like to break through that and start to feel things again. Which, in my case, it meant a lot of crying. That's just what it came down to. There were other things too, but a lot of crying. And so I've been doing all this work to try and figure out how to sell people, especially other guys, on crying. And it's kind of a hard sell on its surface. And there's a lot of, I've been getting a lot of advice from people, and just thinking about how to frame it, oh, you're getting your passion back and your power, and you're, frame it as this hero's journey that you go on, and all this stuff. And yeah, that's great. And I can and will do that. But there's also a part of me that wants to speak directly to someone and say, hey, there's a lot of marketing going on in this topic. But at the end of the day, being afraid of crying, especially, is hurting you. And we've got a real cultural problem with crying. Feelings in general, absolutely. We've got issues with feelings. But I'm going to single out crying here because it's got perhaps the most baggage with it when it comes to men. But the fact is, we got scared of our feelings as kids, as babies even. We got the message that crying wasn't appropriate, that, losing our shit and really crying was in some way unacceptable, unsafe, just not appropriate. And so we learned all sorts of ways to bottle it up. And it was so complete, that process, that we literally have people that would rather do anything than feel their feelings, than cry, I was thinking there was almost I had watched, what was it? Chief of War? Was that? No, I can't remember, the Jason Momoa show. And I know I'm probably getting the title wrong. But anyway, there was a scene where his dad, is recognized as dead. They get his remains or something, and they grieve for him on the beach. And I had high hopes for it at first. I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna show some men actually grieving. You know, what a magical thing. And his Jason Momoa's, buddies or family, they did some grieving, and that was really great to see. But he didn't. He was a tough guy. And I was like, shit. It's close, but no cigar. They still made the hero, unaffected by it, kind of thing. Just in in my experience, like, I had my dad die, and I got to go through this process, right? And grieving for him turned out to be just an amazing thing for me. Something that I now consider to be one of the biggest just jumps in my own development, my own experience of life was grieving. And now that has opened me up so much. It's gotten me feeling again. And boy, I'd say if you have any reason to grieve, which spoiler alert, we all do. Doesn't have to be a death in the family. But it's like, now I see it as like, oh, that's a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine. If you've got something to grieve, that is a source of clarity. It's a source of passion. It's a source of connection. It's so much, and it's just sitting there waiting for you. And that's something that I've come to appreciate about feelings, about everything. But, thinking about feelings is that they are there for our benefit. They're not there to trick you. Like, I got you to cry, sucker. No, it's there to actually make you more effective, to make you better off than you would be if you held those feelings back. And that's all it is. You're kneecapping yourself if you don't let yourself cry. Again, it applies to all feelings, but I'm singling out crying, sadness, grief. Take a person, and copy them, copy A, copy B, and send them on their different paths. One of them kind of takes the standard American male path and bottles it up, doesn't let themselves cry. They see it as weakness, and they don't do it. And the other copy learns how to cry and embraces it, and sees it for the amazing, valuable tool that it is. I don't think there's no question in my mind between those two individuals, the person who is able to embrace and cry without shame, that person is going to be better connected to their authentic selves. They're going to be better connected to the people in their lives. They're going to have a greater range of emotional response. They're going to have the ability to let feelings in. Something good happens, they're going to be able to feel that. Something bad happens, they're going to be able to feel that. They're going to let these feelings happen and relish them for it's like that is the experience of life, is how you feel. I think of feelings as, what they are? Imagine if you were the pilot of a mech warrior, you're inside this big metal robot, but you've got the controls, right? And you can imagine if you're sitting there in the cockpit of this giant mech warrior. You need to be able to effectively control this machine. And if you were, doing battle or something, you would need to have the equipment necessary there to to know what's happening, like have a missile warning, right? Something that would tell you, oh, there's a missile coming at you, so you can respond appropriately. Or you would need to have feedback from this machine about what's going on so that you can make the best decisions. About, let's say, temperature, or how the internal systems are working, if is something malfunctioning or overheating, and like you need the information about what the hell is going on in order to have the best chance at survival. It's like your senses, right? And emotions are that. Emotions are it's telling you information, and if you're able to be open to that information that it gives you helps you. It's not there to trick you. It's there to inform you. And it is just information in a way. It's not, I think there's a tendency for people to identify with their emotions. And they'll say things like, I am angry. I am sad. And that's weird. That'd be like, I don't know. If your car dashboard says that your tires are low or something, that doesn't mean the whole car is low. It just means you need to pump up your tires. It's specific, and it's not a representation of the whole. It's just information. And if your car says, hey, you're low on oil, yeah, okay, cool. That's valuable information. You put oil in the car. Problem solved, right? That's all emotions are doing. They're just letting you know. It's your dashboard. It's giving you information that you can use to say, oh, I need to cry right now. Like, that would be good for me. That's what your body is trying to do. When you feel like crying, when you have a little you start getting the first signs that you need to cry, just a little something. That is your body saying you would be better off right now if you cried. Like, you will have a net benefit to life if you cried. Now, context matters. I'm not saying that you have to do it right then. That's part of what emotional freedom is you have the ability to identify, oh, I am feeling sadness. Is this a good time to feel it fully? Maybe. Maybe not. That's okay. But you can make space for it. If you note that, I've been feeling down the last few days. Hey, valuable information. Make space for that. Give yourself the opportunity to feel it. It's exactly what I did last night. I was feeling a little down, and it happens. So I made space for it, and I took the opportunity to embrace the feeling and to go into it. Be like, yeah, let's do it. And it's not bad. I know it seems horrible when you're not used to it, when you're still in that mode where there's a lot of fear and shame around it. But when you get past that, it's not bad. And you get to enjoy afterwards. You get to enjoy so much clarity and just good, lightness. To me, it's so worth it. Just for example, I got a kid on me. I've got another kid. He's watching something on the iPad right now. We're young or inexperienced parents. One of the things that is very common for us is that we're tired, just kind of chronically sleep deprived. And yet, even in that context, I will still sometimes, look at my situation and be like, you know what? It's like 9:30 p.m. The rest of the family has gone to bed. And it might still be worth it for me to have like a grieving session. And I'll be up, last night I went to bed around midnight. And that just, straight up cut into my total sleep for the night. Cut off like 2 hours of sleep. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. I feel better today. I don't feel particularly sleepy. Even if I do, it's all right. It's still worth it. It's still so easily net positive that I make space for it. It's a priority for me, actually. It's fantastic. And it's a part of an intentionality to embrace more connection and less it's such a dumb statement, but less disconnection. Maybe that 2 hours is making its effect here. But cutting off myself from my dashboard, from my instrument cluster. That's it's just so ridiculous to think that when you deny feelings, when you ignore them or lie to yourself about them, what you're doing is you're covering up instruments on your instrument cluster. You're like, I don't need to see this gauge, I don't need to see that dial, that valve, I don't need that. I'm just gonna ignore them and pretend like they were put there to trap me. You're sitting inside your mech warrior and you're going, I don't need any of these, I'm just gonna fucking wing it. I don't need to know what's going on. I don't need to know what's happening with the machinery. I don't need to know about my weapons systems. I don't need to know about, none of it. Like, I was just, fuck it. Because at some point you have to look at it and be like, okay, was this machine that I'm, walking around in, this body, was it built to fuck with me, or was it built to help me? Was it built with my benefit in mind, or was it built to try and trick me? Now, I'm sure you could point to ways where it does try and trick you. There's always an argument for everything. I know that. My body was trying to trick me into eating a chocolate croissant just a few minutes ago. Okay, so you're gonna have to figure out those little conundrums, like chocolate croissants. But I'll tell you, our emotions have been around a hell of a lot longer than chocolate croissants. We've had, we'll just throw out millions of years where emotions led us to the best possible outcomes. Again, I know that your brain is going to come up with all sorts of intellectual arguments against emotions. Men have a lot of arguments against emotions. We think, oh no, I'm super logical, I'm rational, me man, me smart, right? Maybe. How's it working out for you? How's it showing? How is it manifesting in your life? Are you able to actually truly be in awe? Are you able to see your life as it is and love it fully? Are you able to weep from the beauty of it? Tears of joy, can you do that? Do you have access to that? Do you have access to tears where there is no shame. That's it's even a new thing for me. You know, I've been pro crying for a while now, but actually only fairly recently have I felt like I got to experience tears without shame. And it's a wild thing. It's a powerful thing. It actually feels masculine in those moments. Can you cry? Let's see. When you have that feeling of crying, can you send it up and out, you know, with a big open chest? And be proud of it. You know, can you cry to the universe and say thank you with it? Can you cry to the universe and say, I'm here and I'm feeling it and I'm not hiding from the experience of life? Now, this is going to sound like I'm using shame as a tool here. I don't want to, but I do want to ask the question: Is it manly to hide from crying? Like, is it manly to deny that you feel sadness? Because I know you feel sadness. You know, unless I'm literally talking to a psychopath, like, you feel sadness. I don't care who you are. You're a psychopath. Or you would be a psychopath if you didn't. So I'm just going to assume that you feel sadness. Well, why are we so afraid of it? Why are we so afraid to cry? I mean, I feel like I have answers to that. Okay, maybe they're right, maybe not. I think the question is probably more valuable than my answers. So let's just leave it at that. Why do you avoid crying? You know, what are you protecting by avoiding crying? So let's leave it there. All right. Thanks for hanging out, and I look forward to talking more. All right, have a great day.